Good evening, folks. All right, we're going to watch a video real quick. Now, there's some new information that everyone's going crazy about. New information that was released supposedly on Michael Vaughn and the four suspects, right? But is it new information? I mean, didn't we know about this already that they had a hand in it pretty much, you know, years ago? I'm pretty sure. But let's go ahead and watch this video. And now they're saying that there was a duffel bag. I'm watching this J for Justice or whatever his name is, or her name, whoever it is. And then watching the Dolly Vision and them going over this information that he was, put in a bag or something like that. But didn't we already know that uh, that information? I mean, maybe not about the bag or anything, but let's watch this video that was out 2 years ago.
That's the latest update from the Fruitland Police Department after an extensive search of a home and backyard just a half a mile from the family's home, where Michael was last seen July 27th of last year. Anchor Karen Lair has been in Fruitland all day, where police briefed the media. And Karen, they introduced some new names of individuals they're trying to track down.
Yeah, and Don, we already knew the names and faces of Sarah and Stacy Wandra. They live at the house that police have been searching over the last couple of weeks. But now they tell us they believe there are 4 people with details and knowledge about the death and disappearance of Michael Vaughn.
We did not find Michael's remains.
After days of digging, no human remains found at a Fruitland home that's become the center of the search for missing Michael Vaughn. Police adamant the investigation is still their top priority.
We're just not going to stop. Everybody should know that. We are not going to stop until we uncover the truth in its entirety.
Investigators say all dogs involved in search efforts earlier this month alerted to human remains on the property, but no bones or body parts were discovered. Authorities now believe Vaughn was abducted, killed, buried on the property, then moved.
All of those who have knowledge of Michael's disappearance and have failed to report or hindered our investigation will be pursued.
At a Thursday press conference, authorities releasing the names and faces of 4 individuals they say were staying in the home at the time of Vaughn's disappearance last July. Sarah Wandra was arrested immediately before search efforts began, charged with failing to report Vaughn's death. She will remain in custody as the investigation continues. Stacy Wandra, Sarah's husband, has been behind bars in Washington County since May on an unrelated charge.
We believe that Stacy has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn.
Chief Huff tells me they have enough evidence to file formal charges against Stacy in relation to Michael's case, and those charges are likely forthcoming. Now, police say 2 others were staying with the Wandras, Brandon Shurtleff and Adrian Lucien, both currently out of state and not.
Okay. So 2 years ago, maybe even longer than 2 years ago, we knew these people had something to do with it. Okay, now I have a lot of questions in this case, because when this case first broke, Brandy was at work, or Brandy was at home and the father was at work, and little Michael walked out the front door. Or it was opposite. Either Brandy was at work and the father was at home, and their story was he walked out the door. The father or the boyfriend went to go change the diaper on the other kid, came back downstairs. Michael was gone, walked away. They didn't mention anything about a tricycle. Now they're talking J for Justice and Dollyville or whatever, that there was a tricycle, but that was never mentioned. he walked off. And in the beginning of the case, I could have swore they said they had video of a neighbor's house of Michael, that he did walk away, right? He was walking down the street. In the beginning of this case, we also heard that somebody came forward and said little Mikey went and knocked on their door to see if their kids could come out and play. And that person sent Michael back towards his house to go home because the kids couldn't come out to play. So there's been so many stories out there. No one knows what to believe. So my question is, if we knew 2.5 years ago, that these people had, I mean, the video I just showed you is over 2 years old. Why is it taking that long now? I've watched Brandy talk to Stacy on videos. They almost, got along or whatever. And Stacy was saying, you know me, I would never do something like that, saying he had nothing to do with it, But now it comes 360 around where all four of them had something to do with it. Now they have two of these guys or one of these guys on camera walking around without a shirt. Before Michael, he gets questioned before Michael's reported missing. Did I get that correct, Debbie? That Brandon was seen on camera in the neighborhood walking around and was pulled over by the police because someone called suspicious guy or something, and he said he was looking for a missing kid before Michael was even reported missing. So what is going on, right? We know this much. All four of them had something to do with it. And it could be maybe some kind of a sick trafficking ring, or maybe she couldn't have kids, so they would just kidnap kids or something. Maybe something crazy is going on. Now all of a sudden, everyone's saying, oh my God, new stuff on the Michael Vaughn. Well, we didn't know what happened, but still we have no body. So these people can lie and say whatever, and without a body or any evidence of where he is, they could just be lying. They're already caught, and they're just spinning a tale. Who knows? Will they ever tell us the truth? I hope so. The kid deserves a proper burial, and his family, and and one other thing. People don't realize that in the beginning of this case, they actually were looking at the parents. That something didn't add up. Their stories were changing. Now, I'm not saying that they had anything to do with it, but, a lot of people get mad at me saying I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's really what was going on in the beginning of this case. Drugs were talked about, the parents, a lot of people talked about it. It was fishy. It was a fishy, crazy case. Let's see what Debbie's saying. Dogs hit everywhere he was. Yeah. So we knew over 2.5 years ago or 2 years ago that these people knew about it, or, like I said, we've seen the videos of Brandy talking with a lot of people, which was very crazy to some of us, right? She was on camera talking with Don Wells, and the Wells had their situation going on. She was on camera talking to Stacy Wanda, the guy that supposedly did this, and having some kind of relationship with him, as she forgave him or something. It was crazy. I couldn't figure out the whole thing because I was wrapped up in the Delphi case. But it's pretty crazy, if you ask me. You know, the only thing I can say is new is if it's true what these other YouTubers are saying is the way they got rid of them. But here's the thing: where's the body? You know, they're talking about a duffel bag, this, that. Well, where's the body? If this information came out, surely they no, unless these people are hiding it or whatever. Uh, that Stacy Wanda dude was a big, huge guy and did many interviews about this. And it was pretty freaky to me, and how he started to become friends with Brandy or trying to, right? I was like, this is crazy. The guy's crazy. She had to be nice to get information, Johnny. Yeah, well, I'm just saying it was kind of weird, right? And maybe they used Brandy to talk to Don Wells, maybe to get, like Debbie was just saying, to get information. Maybe, but really freaky to me. You know, kind of just really out there. I mean, you know, I feel horrible for the mother and the parents of little Michael. Adorable little kid, adorable. You know, and there was talk maybe he was trafficked. This Stacy Wanda people in the beginning of the case when they got caught and they were talking about something else, like they were traffickers. So this whole story, a lot of people don't know it or even remember it. But that's what these guys were talking about in the beginning of the case. So now the case has come 360 back around to the original suspects, right? Now, where are these guys? I don't know. There's 4 of them. Let's take a look. All right, so there they are. So the one is Stacy on the bottom right hand side. The other one's Wanda. The other one is some other guy. The guy on the bottom is Brandon. Now that's the guy that was doing all these interviews with the glasses on and sitting in.
Were you involved in the disappearance of Michael Vaughn?
No.
We start with a major update to a case that we've been following for several years. A warrant has been issued for Stacy Wandra, connected to the disappearance and death of Michael Vaughn, who was a neighbor at the time. Then 5-year-old.
I don't know if you remember that, Debbie, but Brandon was the guy that was doing all the interviews on YouTube. Which now we're finding out they're saying that he was walking around shirtless in the neighborhood and they have him on camera, and someone called or they pulled him over or something, and he said he was looking for a missing kid, but there was no report of a missing kid yet. Now, I might got that wrong, I'm not sure, but if so, well, something's crazy. So them are the 4 people. Now 2 or 3 of them, I think, are locked up. 1 is still on the run. And now I don't know if that's true, but that's what Dolly Vision was talking about tonight, that 1 was locked up in Indiana and he was released. And now they're looking for him again. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what I thought Dolly Vision was saying. So what one of them, I'm not sure. Let me see what Debbie Fox is saying. I am not going to say everything I heard at Dolly's. You will have to listen. Them read the statements. Yeah. But see, and a lot of people question Dolly because he's been He's been sued before for putting out fake information or whatever, false information. And he's been caught before making up stories to get subs and views and chitty chitty bang bangs and stuff. So, and that other person. So, I don't know. Do we believe him? I don't know. I don't know. I just hope someone comes clean and they find that little boy so his parents can rest and he can have a proper burial. Well, Dolly is their best friends. So, yeah. I'm not sure, Debbie. I don't know. I know he's been in trouble before. I think he might be friends with Brandy or Dom Wells or both of them, maybe. I don't know. But, on the YouTube streets, once you're caught putting out fake information or you get sued for fake information or whatever, you kind of lose your credit or whatever, I guess. I don't know. So what do we believe? I don't know. I feel horrible for the mother and the father. Horrible. Right? This turned out to where Michael, they were at, where the kid walked out of his own house, walked down the street to his friend's house to see if they can come out and play. And I would guess if that story adds up, then he was taken as he was walking his way back home. Well, maybe he didn't go home. Maybe he went to the park, the splash pad or whatever. And that's where Stacy and these sickos got him. It's possible. Yeah, I'm not going to say it ain't possible. It's possible. Debbie says nobody is friends with Don Wells. Well, hopefully we find out the truth. I did a couple videos on this case when it first broke. But then afterwards, when they started talking with Wells and they started looking with the dog at these people's house, I pretty much passed on it because there was no charge. They thought they had something to do with it. They just couldn't prove it. Right? But now it's come 360 where they do. They're charging them with it. So you can listen to Justin. Yeah, I think I've seen that video you sent. If the documentation is real, then yeah, they might have found out new information of where he's at, hopefully, or what happened. We really don't care what happened. Well, we do, but we mainly more care about recovering the body. If there's a body left, we don't know what these nut jobs did. So there you go. Once we find out new information, this whole thing with the duffel bag and them moving the body, who moved the body, who knows? Stacy, did he have anything to do with it? From what I'm getting watching Dolly Vision, he's kind of leaning towards Stacy didn't have anything to do with it, but he knew about it. Who knows? Maybe until they all get caught, locked up, and put the heat on and come clean. Will we ever really know the truth? I don't know. I would much rather find the kid and give him a proper burial and let the parents at least be giving them a place where they can go visit their son. They probably already have one. But a proper place where we know that's where the little guy is. And that's all I'm worried about. I don't know. You guys behind bars, that are these lawyers, they need to turn the heat up. You need to try and cut a deal with these idiots. right? And then at the last minute, after they tell you everything, let them think they're getting a deal, but they're not. That's what we call playing ball. You know, we all know police lie. Well, we're going to cut your sentence in half. You're only going to do 10 years, maybe. That's it. Tell us everything. But really, you're going to cook. You're going to fry.
Can you dig it? Get 50% off Papa John's at regular menu price when you carry out. That includes any pizza size, any toppings, all 50% off. But hurry.
Were you involved in the disappearance of Michael Vaughn?
No.
Right,
we start with a major update to a
this
case that we've been following for several years. A warrant has been issued for Stacy Wandra, connected to the disappearance and death of Michael Vaughn, who was a neighbor at the time. Then 5-year-old Michael went missing in July of 2021 from outside his Fruitland home. Welcome to the news at 10. I'm Abby Wilt. Tonight, a Payette County lieutenant confirms Wandra has been charged with first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Let's take a look back at what's happened since Michael went missing.
I want to hear him say, "I love you, Mom."
July 27th, 2021. The day then, 5-year-old Michael Vaughn disappeared from his Fruitland home.
Every minute counts in these investigations when searching for a missing child.
By fall of 2021, Fruitland police say Michael, who went by Monkey, was likely abducted.
And we've received some recent leads that have put us out in the area again, searching more acreage.
Almost a year later, in July of 2022, after receiving a tip, search and rescue crews started looking for Michael's body in the backyard of a home just blocks away from where he went missing.
Although the remains of Michael Vaughn were not recovered,
that's what
we
I
strongly
thought in the
believe,
beginning of the case,
based on evidence,
or when they did
that Michael
catch
was abducted
Stacy,
and is deceased.
he
In
was
December
like,
of 2022, police announced
where,
Stacy Wandra, his ex-wife Sarah,
I thought they knew
and two
each
other
other. I seen an
individuals were
interview where
suspects or
Stacy
persons of
was
interest
telling
in
Brandy
Michael's
or
disappearance.
Never
They
seen
knew
them.
each other or
Never
something
met
like
them.
that, or they
In a video posted to
babysitted for
social
him
media and
once or
taken in
something.
November of 2022, Stacy told detectives via FaceTime where to find Michael's body in his backyard after claiming he watched his wife, Sarah, bury Michael there.
Give me an approximate time frame it took her to dig and bury.
I don't know. I'd say probably between a half hour to an hour.
In the body camera footage recorded by police, he says he saw Michael's body.
It should be. It should be a garbage bag.
Okay, what color is the garbage bag?
It would either be white or black. We only had two colors.
Is the duct tape still going to be over his mouth?
It should be.
Okay.
I didn't watch to take them off.
Okay.
So you should have everything intact as it was.
In January
So,
2024,
Debbie,
Stacy
he's
told
saying it was his
KTVB he
wife
knew nothing about Michael's disappearance
that did it.
and says he
Not
wasn't
him,
even
his
home
wife.
when Michael went
But
missing.
the
I just know
video
that I wasn't around for
shows
any of it. Like I said, I've never even heard of
Stacy
this kid. I've never
in the
seen
car.
this kid. Never knew anything about him.
So
Now,
they did
October
take him.
31st, 2025, Stacy Wandra is charged with first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Michael's mom sent us a statement Friday morning saying their family is filled with mixed emotions. She says in part, quote, "All we have wanted is for Michael to come home. Knowing that charges are coming forth to these monsters, we pray that they will finally tell us where Michael is. Michael deserves to be home with his family. We are here. We want justice. Michael will get his justice. We want Michael home, and we're never going to stop until we have Michael home."
Wow, that's freaky. That close, living that close. The whole time, he was only a couple blocks away. Unreal.
Can you dig it? Get 50% off Papa John's at regular menu price when you carry out. That
but
includes
here's the
any
thing.
pizza size, any toppings, all 50%.
Here's the thing with that whole thing is can you believe him? I mean, what the heck? I don't know. I mean, would they tell the truth of where he really is? You probably would have to make it worth something for them to talk or something. I don't know. I don't know. It's horrible, but I do agree. The little boy needs to be returned and have a proper burial so his parents can, uh, you know, you never really end grieving, you know. I don't think a mother's grief ever ends. But a lot of people would be happy to see him found. So I don't know. The state would have to work on getting them to talk. You know? I don't know. Miss Debbie Fox insists if I would listen to her, I'd probably know more. But I don't know to believe any of this stuff because a lot of these people, you know, are just in it for the money, I guess. I don't know. No, and she almost died, so I don't want to say too much. Who almost died? Who, Debbie? Oh, Brandy almost died. Oh, I have no idea. You're telling me, though, no. She is sick. Well, if I want to speculate, I can. Why are you being so ornery today? Jeez. I don't know. We'll have to find out. We'll have to see if they talk. One's still on the loose. So who knows where he's at? Somewhere. Who knows? Lock your doors. They're reading documents, but are we all sure them are real documents? Or even the truth of what they're saying? That's what my question is, Miss Fox. I don't know what's wrong with Brandy now. That's Michael's mother, right? What's wrong with her, Doug? Three people have the same documents. I don't know. Are them three people the same three people that were accused of fake documents? Fake information? I don't know. She had a transplant. Good God, what? I didn't even know. I had no idea what kind of a transplant. I had no idea. I heard Dolly Vision was saying that she put on a bunch of weight now. She looked good. Well, hopefully they get to the bottom of this case. Hopefully they get to the bottom of it and bring him home, or someone does something. You know, if Stacy is telling the truth, why he was in jail, they moved the body. Well, what did they do with it? There was three of them then. Brandon, Wanda, and that other guy. How did the body get there in the first place? And how did Michael get to their house? All right, we'll cover this case again once we find out where Michael was or is. It tells the whole document. All right, I'll check it out, Doug. You can pay to get the documents. Oh, you can pay to get the documents. I'm not going to pay to get them. All right, we'll be back when we find out more. I'm sure little Debbie Fox will give me some information on what the whole documentation thing is, and we might do another video on this. My condolences to the family, the mother. And once again, I really don't want to know what they did. We would rather know where he is. You know. I don't know. That's all I can say is the important thing right now is finding out where he is. All right. You folks have a great night. All glory goes to God. God bless. And we'll be back with more on this case as it comes out. Have a good night. I'm going to see what Debbie's saying. All right, she's going to tell me, but not live, so we'll figure everything out. You folks have a great night. God bless, and I'll be back